To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone at home. Good evening, young lady. Good evening, sir.
Sir?
Any public comment? Anybody? On anything?
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple things. I got a call for the Eagle Valley Cemetery on 9W about the condition of the road going in and up towards the cemetery there. So I'm just wondering if it is on anyone's radar.
It is.
Okay.
It is. I talked to the highway department about it because I probably got the same message from the same person as you did, and he's aware of it, and it's just a matter of getting to it.
Okay, very good. The other thing, Channel 23, can you tell me a little bit how that works in the way of...
Does it work?
Does it work? My questioning is, it was requested, if it's possible, I'm not sure, to have the town and the village meetings essentially like on a rerun on Channel 23 available. So not, live Monday nights. No.
I think they're all on YouTube, all the meetings.
I'm sorry, Bob.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I mean, to do that, somebody would have to physically act like a master control.
Okay.
And play back, and we'd have to somehow insert it on the system. And so but all the things are posted on YouTube, so.
Okay. It was a request that some people may not have access to the internet, so just having it, rerun later in the week, even just on another day. So not doable. Understood.
I mean, anything's doable, but it's.
I gotcha. One last thing, the village and the town have a consolidated building department, correct? Does that run off of one code book, or are there separate code books?
Richie, you can answer that.
Village has their own code, and the town outside the village has their own code. The building department is town operated, but they have two books or two codes, whatever. They enforce both of them based upon what it's written. So if the village wanted to change something in that code, that would be up to them. If the town wanted to change something in the code, that would be up to us.
All right, thank you.
Wait, Alina.
Yeah.
And you're talking about replaying the village meetings too, right?
Yes.
What time is somebody talking about?
Just nothing in particular, it was just suggested, hey, if they could be rerun on like a Wednesday evening or a Thursday evening, just so giving, people who may not have access to the internet another available option or time slot.
Sorry about that.
No, okay. Yeah. It's the compatibility with the recording from the village. I mean, now I'm thinking about it. I mean, you could maybe, it would require time and manpower and somebody getting paid to do it. You know what I mean? It's not something, you'd have to probably put the raw chip like that's getting recorded now in the camera, hit play, and just plug it into the system. I mean, could it be done to do it at night? I mean, somebody's gotta be here to do it. I mean, it's something we could talk about. YouTube. Everybody should have access to the internet at this point, even, I don't know. How many requests did you get for this? Library? Yeah, they could go down to the library.
That's a good suggestion.
Well, we could talk about it offline.
Okay, great.
But it's probably not probable.
I would be afraid that the person that maybe requested this heard, wow, they had some meeting the other night, you should have seen it. I'm afraid that's the person that wants to see it again because he didn't tune in on the right night or didn't want to Didn't see it, yeah, and they missed it. Oh, I would love to have seen that.
That could be true. I think it came at a sense of a group of seniors that don't have access to the internet were requesting. So I just wanted to make sure that I did my due diligence.
Okay, no, the seniors in particular have plenty of time to sit home and watch a meeting on a Monday night.
And that's why we have a senior center. You know, they could go down to the senior center, there's a computer there, that'd be a great thing an additional thing. That's why that building exists, for seniors to go, especially like that, who don't have internet access. There is a computer there. They could go down, go to the meetings, or go when they're open, and it's probably something, that'd be the better play.
Or maybe even working that into the senior program, having a day that they rerun meetings or something.
Oh, that sounds like fun. But well,
Well, let me throw a wrench in the program, just to be an advocate for seniors. Not all of them are mobile, not all of them have access to transportation.
Dial-a-bus.
And not all of them can get out of the house during the winter time.
No.
So there are other considerations when we start talking about seniors in particular.
But we do have dial-a-bus, too. That could bring them there.
Okay, well,
There's will away.
I would disagree with those who I know that are in wheelchairs in their homes.
I understand. I know.
Thank you, dear.
Some of us haven't had cable.
Or thank you, ma'am, not dear. We're not supposed to say stuff like that. Anybody else? Olga? Gary? I have the previous minutes, April the 14th. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Communications, hold on 1 second while I find this. Okay, I have a letter that I'm going to ask the town board to sign individually, and Olga's going to come up and tell us why this letter is important.
Okay. Hello.
Do you need a copy of the letter, too?
Well, I don't know what maybe you rewrote it, who knows?
Oh, no.
Well,
You rewrote it, and we put the paragraph in that you rewrote.
Right. Well, the whole idea here is that the Environmental Advisory Committee has an opportunity to apply for a grant that's being administered by a nonprofit called Partners for Climate Action. They're based way up in like the Rhinebeck area. They're a relatively young organization, but they have some very well-established partners and supporters, and seem to have some rather deep pockets. So they have put out this grant request, and we can get a total of $22,000 that has absolutely no match requirements, which is always good for us. So just some sweat equity. And the idea is to spearhead some conversations with the community around what the community members see as challenges to themselves in the environment and in the world in which they live here in this area. So post July 9th, 2023, I think we can all speak to some of those challenges. The grant will involve the partners providing facilitators, individuals who are trained in this sort of creating dialogue and meaningful dialogue that can lead to some meaningful planning. So they would provide the facilitators, we would provide, all of the legwork here in the village in terms of identifying participants and stakeholders and ensuring that those conversations take place and then generating a report. So it's really a nice adjunct to some of the work that we've been doing with people like Sally Dorsch with regard to disaster preparedness and resilience planning. So we really believe that having these conversations at the grassroots is essential for us to create any kind of plans that will work. Any planning that we do has to work for the people in the community in which they live. It can't be us sitting around in a room trying to think of good things to do. So this spurs conversation from the grassroots on up, and it empowers the municipality to later on take that information and go ahead and create some meaningful resilience plans. So that's...
Thank you
Does
very
that
much.
help?
Thank you very much. And the reason, as I explained to Olga, that I had everybody on the board sign it, is originally it was a letter from me, and I thought it would be more powerful that the whole board signed it and got behind it. So that was the reason everyone signed it. I transferred some money, $62,540 from the consolidated account to the paying account to cover this week's check run. Rockland County Solid Waste for haulage, $14,052. Orange and Rockland Electricity and Energy for March this year, $8,279. TAM Enterprises for Sewer and Firefighter Memorial Service, $6,435. I'm not sure what that was. Anybody on the board know? No?
Sewer and Firefighter Memorial Service?
Yeah.
That must be written wrong.
Well, something on Firefighters Memorial Drive, I'm
Memorial
assuming. Wasn't
Drive.
there some work?
Sewer and
Last
Firefighter
few weeks.
Memorials. All right, yes. The word drive isn't in there. Sewer.
Bob, I think what that's for is they had them down at Brooks's Park clearing out some drain pipes.
Oh, that was.
I don't think it was a sewer, it was drainage.
All right, okay. Anyway, that was $6,435. Lankin Tully, Dog Pound Engineering, and Eagle Crest Labor, $4,520. Danzinger and Markoff for the Gadsby number 75 full valuation, $4,255. Any questions on that report? Before it leaves my mind, which would be easy to do, this coming Saturday, 10 a.m., river sweep down at the Mindock Park. Ed Nugent's daughter will be down there to meet and greet people, and if there's anybody that would like to come volunteer down there, anybody at home, you few folks at home, if you want to come down, bring a rake, bring a weed whacker, bring some sort of equipment, or we'll have stuff down there for you to use. I'm going to talk to the highway department about getting some sort of a dumpster or what down there, but it'll be to clean up our section of the river on this river sweep.
Will there be kayaks going out on the river?
I don't have an answer. If we've done that in the past, I would assume that probably will happen.
I'll bring mine down.
Yeah, well, I think Ed used to do that.
Oh, is that right? Ed did that? Yeah. I'm sure his daughter will probably follow right in his footsteps then, yeah. I was down there today, by the way, and there's a dumpster down there, and these guys are loading shingles into the dumpster in the parking lot at Mindock Park. So I went over, I said, what's going on, guys? No hablo English, no, and then I said, what about you? No English. So I called our police up, and I asked the police officer who was on duty, I said, do you speak Spanish? He said, yeah, I do. Good. Get down the park and find out what's going down there. The dumpster can stay there right now, but the guy up on top of the hill, he's having a new roof put on. And I could understand there's no place to put a dumpster there. But it would have been nice if they asked us if they could put it there for the day. But
At least it was their dumpster? It wasn't one of ours.
No. This is what roll-off, I'm saying dumpster, but it's one of the roll-offs, the big roll-offs. So anyway, I didn't see the officer while he was down there, but I asked him to tell them it had to be out of there tonight. And so I haven't been down there to see, but if it's not out of there tonight, I'm sure it'll be out of there tomorrow. But because the gentleman that's having his roof done is a former member of the Mindock Park Committee, and if I knew it was his roof, I probably would have went up and talked to him myself. But so anyway, and if anybody on the board or anybody out there sees the railroad people using our park to dump some of their crap in, and by crap I mean some of their machinery, some of their rocks and pebbles and all that stuff, they just help themselves to the park and dump whatever they feel like down there. And frankly, I'm tired of it. It's our park. We keep it clean. We do what we can down there. And I think that probably will stop because they actually built a road in our park, past the park and up to the track where they have a crossing there. And I guess they're using that now, so maybe they won't be using our park anymore. But if anybody sees them down there doing something, leaving the equipment off, give me a call, give the police a call, somebody a call, because even though I go down there minimum once a day, I'm not down there all the time. I go there as much as Richie goes to the sewer plant. Maybe not.
That means you want something else to do then.
Okay. Board reports. Let's start with Councilwoman Nancy.
Good evening to everybody, and good evening everybody at home. Rich, can I ask first, you were at ZBA and Consolidated Planning Board meetings?
I did not go to the Zoning Board of Appeals. They had a simple public hearing on the matter in Ontario Park.
Right, and that was
It was an easy
granted,
one, and that was
yeah.
approved. That's all I
Okay.
know.
Good, yes, and that's what Jack had reported as well. So I don't have any other liaison business, but I'll report. So last week went to, unless somebody else, do you have plans to talk about the school meeting that we went to last week? So last Wednesday night, they had the town hall specifically about federal impact aid and how it affects the school district. And it was very interesting. I would direct you to the Highland Falls Fort Montgomery Central School District website because they're specifically asking for support from parents and community members to write to our elected representatives. And there is a document that is there with links to the representatives that we need to speak to. Impact aid has been a sensitive subject for decades, but right now it has its own page in in Project 2025, which is also known as Mandate for Leadership. Federal impact aid is a specific target in that document. So now more than ever, it is important to give your support to let our elected representatives know that we are aware of this and that we want them to be able to do something about it. There is more information that's on the school's website, hffmcsd.org for Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery Central School District.org. So it was a very interesting,
The night of the meeting, they actually had printed out 3 different letters to 3 different representatives. I think it was
Gillibrand.
Brian Gillibrand and Schumer.
Yes.
Are those letters on their website too?
The letters, what I was able to see is that they have a link to get that.
So
right?
that's what they really want, the more signatures to make a voice, because Nancy was saying that the impact aid is in place for this year, but they're really sweating about next year with everything going on. Right, am I missing anything, MJ?
No, I could not find the video of the presentation or the new letters.
Right, yeah, it's still, yeah.
So I'm assuming they probably put them on today.
I just checked, no, this is still, well, it's dated April, but it's still the February
You find the video
information. No,
Yeah.
not yet, so. But they had said that they would be getting
It's
it
page
up there.
326, I think.
326 of mandate for leadership, yes, I do remember that part. So that's what's going on currently. I was able to help my fellow councilman at the Repair Cafe on Saturday. We managed to fix a shredder. It was a very proud moment for us. And then yesterday, on behalf of the American Legion Auxiliary, I went to Holy Innocents Parish Hall after their service to present awards to 3 young men from West Point who are brothers, Isaac and Thomas North, who are from West Point and have been very involved in the church there and in the thrift shop and in a lot of other community things. But specifically recognize them. April is the month of the military child. And so that's what was driving the train. We gave them certificates, and in conjunction with the center, they got a trip to Sight and Sound Theater in Lancaster in September. It's one of the center's trips to go see Noah that is going to be there in September. So that was really nice to be able to spend time and meet the family and to recognize the month of the military child, as I'm a military child myself. But so we did that. I think those were the 3 things that I wanted to cover. That's what I've got, boss.
Nancy, do you normally give us a report on ambulance calls, the ones they make and don't make?
I do, and I did that last meeting. I
Was
don't
that
have
once
the
a month?
number. Once a month,
You get
yes.
that?
They give me
Okay.
the report once a month. I want to say the last one may have been like 41 calls. We were short 2 calls. 41 calls, 39 were dispatched. I think
What
that's...
brought it to mind, I saw the Cornwall ambulance with their lights on going down Main Street here.
There has, in the past 5 or 6 days, there's never one call that there's not 2 at a time. And it's been
Okay.
exceptionally busy.
Yeah, lifted out the other day, right, from the Barrow Circle.
That was from the Bear Mountain Circle, yeah. So you get to see that. It is just, it seems like you go for a while with nothing, and then there's not one call, but there's a call within 5 or 10 minutes. So I would be interested to see what the numbers are for this month, especially now that the...
Councilman DeWitt.
Yes, I'm done.
Thank you, Nancy. We were quite the team at the Repair Cafe. And a shout out, as we do every meeting, to Olga and the Environmental Committee. The Earth Day, the weather held out nice. Turned out the library was really well. Councilman Sullivan and Supervisor Livesey, Nancy, myself, the mayor showed up as well and for support. And it was just a good day. It was a lot of fun, and congratulations. I mean, it was a good turnout, and I got some sunflowers out of the deal too, so thank you very much. On the note of other thing, rain out, the Hope Rocks event is scheduled for this Saturday from noon to 9 o'clock.
2 to 7.
2 to, oh, like those.
Because of the people who make a difference.
Right, that's what I forgot to mention. Thank
2
you.
to 7. 2 to 7.
The
Yeah,
people
sure.
that make a difference thing is like 9 to 11, isn't
9
it?
to 11.
I'm just telling you. 2
Okay,
to 7.
thank you.
Trust me.
Okay.
I live it.
Do I ever question? Yeah, I know you. All right, let me correct myself. Thank you, MJ. The Hope Rocks is going from 2 to 7 p.m. at Roe Park. It's a big family event. The idea, you know, the background of it's mental health issues amongst other things, but it's also a very fun family day. There'll be all kinds of vendors and music all day. I think they probably shortened it too because of the rain date. I know they lost a few bands, I heard, but they still have a few showing up. So weather's supposed to be beautiful. So if you're around, stop by Roe Park between 2 and 7 and give them some support. Speaking about Roe Park, Aaron Falk was nice enough to text us this morning. He went up and took a look at the Little League field, as a lot of people have. Just that the progress up there seems to be coming along really nice. I think they were expecting to be done with it within the next 2 months, if I've heard correctly, maybe sooner. I'm looking to MJ again, but to shake her head yes or no. And then as far as the Little League program going, the numbers are good this year. They have 5 Little League teams this year, which is the first time in 10 years. At one point, they were down to 3. So participation's up, and play ball. So again, Aaron and Falk and running the recreation and summer programs for the kids. There's always something going on in his world, and something for our kids to stay active and busy. So again, thank you to him and for all the work they do. The last thing I got, Earth Day, Hope Rocks, Little League, Aaron. I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Councilman King.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. Just a couple of notes from me, and the first one up on deck is apparently we had 80s night this past weekend.
Yes.
At the Legion, and I don't know if there was a Joe DeWitt sighting or not at that kind of event, but I know he likes 80s music. However, I heard it was a good time, and that's what counts. Community Chamber of Commerce doing great things to bring great programs to the community. Speaking of the Chamber of Commerce, they're going to be starting on May 17th, the monthly car shows. So it's that time of year where you can get out and enjoy car shows on a nice sunny day. Starting on May 17th, it'll be every Saturday going forward. So looking forward to seeing that come to fruition. A big deal from the standpoint of community civics, if you will. The Chamber organized a bus ride for youth from the ages of, or the grades of 4th grade all the way up to high school to go out to celebrate or cheer on the Vietnam veterans who were coming back from honor flight on April 12th. And so that was one of those initiatives that incorporated kids from all throughout the school system with support of the school district. But the bus that the Chamber booked was sponsored by the West Point Tours and by Assemblyman Christopher Eakes. And that was a good thing. But nevertheless, it was about 20 youth that showed up in total. And a lot of them were junior ROTC students, so a good thing for them to see. But what a way to celebrate our American heroes is have youth welcome them back home. And our Town of Highlands Special Events Committee is equally as great as the Chamber, and they're going to help us celebrate Mother's Day by putting on a Mother's Day Sunday brunch, May 11th, 11 a.m. at the American Legion. I believe there's still time to get your tickets if you hadn't done so, but certainly we want to celebrate all of our mothers. We heard about People Who Make a Difference Day breakfast that's coming up this Saturday, May 3rd, 9 a.m. American Legion, to recognize some of our local heroes. One of which that happens to be to my left, your right, which is none other than Councilman Joe DeWitt will be recognized. So come on out and help us celebrate Joe and others. I think even our legislator Lloyd Totel might be in that batch of honorees. And then finally, there's something happening on May 24th from 3 to 5 p.m. I just don't know what it is. I'm wondering who in here may know what's happening at that time. Somebody gave me that note and I can't. I must not have
The first car show, is it?
It could be. No, the first car show is on the 17th.
Okay.
Mary J, anything?
What day of the week is it?
Well, it's the next disaster, Citizens Disaster Preparedness class.
You get the prize.
West Point
graduation. That was a test. That's
Yeah, it is West Point graduation, but we figure, not everybody's going to West Point.
Well, there you go.
So this is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We did one in an evening program a month or so ago. This is aimed specifically the time frame to make it accessible to seniors, to families, to folks who might not necessarily be able to get out in the evening time. So we really want to see if we can encourage our seniors to come to that program. It's very meaningful for them. And I haven't announced this before, but we really want to start compiling a list of names of people who are more vulnerable community members, so we can be absolutely certain that if any problems come up in the future, we know who they are, where they are, and that would be seniors, that would be people with medical needs, people with special needs, people with small children that, there's a long list. So we really want to start kicking that off, and I hope we'll do that on the 24th.
Olga, thank you so much for demonstrating my new initiative is to call out a thing that don't give them all the facts and then somebody pops up in the crowd. So thank you. But more importantly, what you just said is a real deal. So in my circle of folks that we are in close contact with, just a couple, 2-3 months ago, it was a person who had fallen in their home and couldn't get back up. My brother had to go down and help that person back up while his wife was there. She's in a wheelchair and could not render any aid. But then fast forward, that man goes on to heaven and passes. A woman's living in a home by herself in a wheelchair. She later on, a month or two later, falls out of a wheelchair by herself and stayed there for hours until someone came in and actually had to break the window to get in there. So what Olga's talking about is a real thing. So thank you so much for that. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Sullivan.
Yeah, I want to say something nice about Ty. Bob Dylan won a Nobel Prize for Literature for writing songs on napkins. Whatever you got over there, you got a lot of good stuff on that stuff you got over there.
I locked that one up.
All right, so, usual long-winded Sully. Sewer flow for March, I didn't read that at the last meeting. We had 5.9 inches of rain. The daily flow was 96,000 gallons per day. I haven't forgotten about what we're doing with the sewer, with the study that we're doing. So that's just shy of 80%. We had an aerator blower go bad. That was approximately 8,500 to replace. And we have a plant water tank. Plant water system down there, there's domestic water and there's plant water, which is treated water that's used for other systems that aren't potable. That tank is only 4 years old and we have to replace it. A little bit disappointed by that. That's probably going to be about $7,000 for that one. So that's, and I've only been down there. I know Bob's going to talk about the dog shelter later. I've been down there watching. That building has a CO, by the way. The building department is operating handsomely. Philip was out last week and will hopefully be back this week. And people have heard me explain this many times, the civil service rules, I'm sure Justin's going to weigh in on this, associated with part-time employees. So I'm referring to Moses, who is working 20 hours a week. We did some calculations and we are bringing him up to 24 hours a week. So on December 15th, he will hit his 1,040 hours for the year because there's a need for him. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, he will now be working all day. And I've tried to have it to where he or Phil, Gabby's there all the time, is present in that office on Monday afternoons and on Friday afternoons. So Gabby's always there. You're lucky here. You don't need an appointment like you do in a lot of towns. There's usually someone there to talk to you. I just want to have some reserved times for that. Okay, so the, Nancy mentioned the zoning board, and I don't usually go to the planning board meetings, but I did go to the last one, and there's some hot ticket items that I want to talk about. And back about 20 years ago, when I think I was still on the planning board at that time, people down at Corbin Hill in that area were up in arms over what they called clear cutting and all kinds of things like that. That resulted in the town coming up with a tree law, which is attached to our soil erosion control law. If you go to our website, you go to online, Town of Highlands Online, go down to the E code, it's very easy to find it. I believe it's chapter 101. And not everybody, hardly not anybody knows that these things exist. So, and it's different in the village, Alina, than it is in the town, okay? They have them also, but it's different. I just want to read two parts of it. Activities requiring a permit. None of the following activities shall be commenced until a permit has been issued from the planning board under the provisions of this chapter. Site preparation in the subdivision of land into 2 or more parcels. Site preparation within waterlands. Site preparation on slopes which exceed 1 and 1.5 feet vertical rise on 10 feet horizontal. Site preparation within the 100-year floodplain of any watercourse. Excavation which affects more than 200 cubic yards of material within any parcel or any contiguous area. Okay, these are activities that require a permit. I'm not done with them yet. Stripping which affects more than 20,000 square feet, that's just shy of half an acre, of ground surface within any parcel or any contiguous area. Grading which affects more than 20,000 square feet of ground surface within any parcel or any contiguous area. Filling which exceeds a total of 100 cubic yards of material within any parcel or contiguous area. Site preparation pursuant to a special exception permit issued by the planning board or the town board. Site preparation affecting or contiguous to the shoreline of the Hudson River, and on all properties, a removal or destruction of more than 3 trees, 10 inches diameter breast height or over, or in any 12-month period of time, or 1 tree in excess of 30 inches of diameter breast height. I wasn't sure if it was 30 or 24 in the second one. So 3 trees, diameter breast height is chest level, 4 feet high, measure around a tree, take the circumference, divide it by pi, whatever the equation is, and come up with the diameter. And if it's more than 10 inches for more than 3 trees, you need a permit. You heard it here first from Sully here on Town Hall, okay? I just said something I want to explain also. Special exception permit. That word scares people. There's 3 things that can happen. It's permitted, it's not permitted, or requires a special exception. That means it's planning board. And the planning board on some things may also require a site plan. So special exception doesn't mean anybody's getting any political favors. It means it goes to the planning board, okay? The following activities are exempted from permit regulations. Agricultural operations, excavations for the basement and footings of a single-family houses and for septic tank systems, wells and swimming pools attendant to single-family homes. Household gardening and activities related to the maintenance of landscape features on existing developed lots, excepting such activities as are required to obtain permits under subsections of things I read before, okay? Government activities, but only to the extent that such activities are exempted from the provisions by the chapter of this law. Home occupations requiring special permit under Chapter 210 zoning, I don't know what that is without looking it up, and the removal of trees within 40 linear feet of the exterior walls of an existing single-family or two-family house on the same lot, or which pose an imminent hazard to life and property, provided a waiver from the permit requirements hereunder is first obtained from the authorized official, as a building department, on a lot of 1 acre or less substantially developed with improvements and having a single-family or two-family house situated thereon. I think they're pretty clear. What I'm gonna tell people, call the building department. They know, and they'll talk you through it, okay? So, not everybody knows those laws exist. We had a couple of issues come up at the last planning board meeting, and I just wanted people to be aware that we do have that law. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You say, if you have your house and you have a tree that's within 40 feet of the house and you gotta cut it down, you need a permit.
No,
All right.
he said the opposite. That's exempted from needing a permit. Anything within 40 feet of your home.
Of an existing home, or if you're building a home, okay? If you're not building a home and want to go chop trees down, that's a different situation, so. Did I get that right? Okay. The DPW. My first report about the DPW is in combination with VRI and the Water Department. We had a leak 2 weeks ago on a 3/4 inch copper service up on Brooks Road behind the firehouse. It was discovered 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. It was likely about a 30,000 gallon a day leak, and by 2 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon, everything was repaired. In the 8 years I've been doing this now, this is the 5th time we've had a copper service go bad in the part of the system that was installed as part of the MTBE lawsuit. I don't know what's up with that copper, but the copper is not lasting as long as it should, and this particular one may have had a rock on it, I'm not really sure, and a little pinhole that big was leaking 30,000 gallons a day, so that's our first repair with VRI. The town went down there with the backhoe to dig the hole. I want to thank them for that. It was a very good effort. And the town DPW has been working down at Brooks Park, where last month they had a vacuum truck that was billed at Bob Red, clean out a couple of clogged drain lines. I wasn't down there today, but I believe they're assembling the new batting cage, aren't they? They were going to be putting it together.
So they were working on it, yes. Yeah.
So that's going back down there.
Yeah.
And they will be restarting the Drew Road drainage project, which was substantially done insofar as the aggrieved landowner doesn't have to worry about getting blasted by Garrison Pond, but there's still 100 feet of pipe to put in to finish that project. They should be done with that by Memorial Day. Water, as I mentioned, VRI was excellent in our first water repair utilizing them. And today they began filling the new water tank up at Corbin Hill. The tank holds a little bit over 180,000 gallons. And by my request, I asked them not to utilize more than 40,000 gallons a day. The mayor is aware of that, and now Alina is. The village is flushing hydrants, and the mindset is to reduce the amount of disturbance to the water system while we're filling that tank. One note, down at the Grace Baptist Church on 218, there is now a check valve. That's the only pipe that goes down to Fort Montgomery from the village. It is not possible for our water to backflow. So if there is turbulence up in Highland Falls, it's not because we don't have a water tank, and it's not because it's backflowing. That is just not possible anymore. We're 3 miles south of all of that stuff. The CEAC, the Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee, Saturday, Joey touched upon the e-waste and events at the library. A couple things down there, Orange and Rockland was there. Joey was there. I want him to hold up his hand. If you only have 4 digits, that means you're very good at fixing shredders. I don't know how to make up with that. John Blanc was there doing IT repairs. We had Suzanne Braun doing some sewing repairs. Tiffany Montalese was there with her son, who had his own really cool DTW Town of Highlands recycling truck that he was driving around. Doris Lent and Ann Taylor won the annual Greener Award, and there was bingo for the kids downstairs, and one of my favorite guys, if you've ever watched Monty Python years ago, was Bicycle Repairman. We got this guy Paul that comes from New Jersey, who's Bicycle Repairman, does a good job. And Brian Murdoch had this, used to read Yankee Magazine, who had these tricky ways of cleaning things with mayonnaise and solutions. He had a display out with things of that nature. I'm almost done. History. Yesterday was an absolute pleasure to attend the 2nd annual collaboration of the Historical Societies at the Woodbury Historical Society at their senior center. Tuxedo, Cornwall, Chester, Monroe, Harriman, Highlands, Warwick, Woodbury, and others were there. Michael Graber was there, dressed in his 5th Regiment reenactor's uniform. They fought at the Battle of Fort Montgomery. Ronnie Coffey was there, and her garb was, I don't know what you call it, almost like Dolly Madison, the garb that they wore in the late 1800s. Richie Parry and Marcia Parry were there, dressed as if they were David Parry, I think is the patriarch of that family back from the 1800s. And we had Mr. Ned Coppold there handing out information on James I. O'Neill, graduate of 1911. Everybody in 1911 class, I think there were 11 graduates, did amazing things, and Professor O'Neill certainly did. And now I'm going to defer to my friend Ty, because Snowdrop Smith's daughter and granddaughter were there, and I don't remember their names. Take it away, Ty.
So the daughter's name is Edwina, named, I can imagine, after her father, who's Edward Smith. The late Edward Smith was a Buffalo soldier stationed here at West Point, and Snowdrop, his lovely wife, lived to, I think, 101, as you know, and now is buried at West Point. The granddaughter, I have met her. She was here in the town for the celebration we did on her father. I can't remember her name.
Amanda.
Is it Amanda?
She came in, she flew in from Alabama for this event, and I did not know this Snowdrop's husband was a Buffalo soldier. I've lived through all my life until Ty had that presentation about 2 years ago down here celebrating him. So everybody can clap, I'm done. Thank you.
And let's thank the assist by MJ Pitt tonight. She offered an assist all around tonight. Thank you.
Player tonight, yeah.
Through these reports here, I'm just realizing that I have two things to do Saturday morning. I have at 9 o'clock the People Who Make Difference, and I got at 10 o'clock, Dock Park, the river sweep. So I know Joe can't make the river sweep because he'll be there. So if anybody else on the board can make it, in particular at 10 o'clock, because I'll leave as quick as I can from the People Who Make a Difference.
Will you be at the breakfast?
If I can take my kayak down there, I'll be down there, I'll take my kayak down.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd
I
be
have an
good.
event at the battle site at 1 o'clock, so I can't stay down there too long.
Okay, all right. Okay. Now, at our last meeting, we approved using some money from the, before I go any further, Chief, do you have anything?
Nothing this evening.
Nothing? Okay, at our last meeting, we approved spending a little more money for our new ambulance and equipment. What happened was the equipment price went up because they were modernizing it, I guess you might say. But the ambulance with equipment is $354,000. Now, most of that money, almost all of that money, is coming from our senator and our assemblyman, Skoufis and Ekus. But we're $24,000 short. We have a reserve fund that is for an ambulance, which has $163,000 in it. So we approved using $24,000 of that from that capital reserve fund to pay the balance on the new ambulance. But we can't just say at our last meeting that we're going to use it. We have to have a resolution. And so I have a resolution to authorize expenditure from the ambulance reserve fund not to exceed the sum of $24,000. Do I have a motion to move the resolution?
Motion?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt?
Aye.
Councilmember Spaulding?
Aye.
Supervisor Livesey?
Aye. I have another resolution which I'll ask our attorney to explain. It's not on your agenda, so we're sneaking this one in, I guess you might say.
Sure, certainly. As you know, the controller has been working with the auditors, and one of the auditors pointed out that the ARPA funds you received, you previously allocated $428,000 to the Corbin Hill Water Tank Project. When you got the second tranche in, you didn't allocate those funds, and they want that in writing. So before you have a resolution doing just that, it carves out the little bit of money that you previously used at the sewer plant for some paving, but otherwise allocates the balance of the $856,000 ARPA funds to the Corbin Hill Water Tank Project.
Okay, we have this resolution of the town board accepting American Recovery Plan Act funds and allocating the same to the Corbin Hill Water Tank Project. Do I have a motion to move the resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt?
Aye.
Councilmember Spaulding?
Aye.
Supervisor Livesey?
Aye. I gave a letter from our dial-a-bus driver to the town board last week. She's asking for an increase based on the fact that she's been 20 years with us doing part-time and full-time as a dial-a-bus driver. She's got the required training, license, safety record. She does more than just drive the bus. She does daily checks of fluids, cleans it, washes it, shines it up. And at her present pay of $18.50 an hour, she's asking for an increase of $3 per hour. I have a recommendation from Richard Sullivan to increase the pay to $20 an hour and talk about more than that at our next budget meeting. Am I right?
So she's at 18 now?
She's at 18 and change, 18.50.
If you saw the email, I approached her from the standpoint of percentages. It's a 16% increase in one hit right now. The police are coming up, the EMTs are down there. They pay attention to these percentages. I think 8% takes her to $20 an hour, and at budget time, another 8% takes her to where she wants to be. So I think we can accomplish that by next January 1st, and that's the way I would like to go about it.
Well, I certainly think she's deserving, and so I would concur with the proposal from Councilman Sullivan.
Okay, then I'll ask for a motion to change the 2025 salary schedule for bus driver to $20 per hour for the full time.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I'll let also know too that the dial bus is still 100% subsidized by the county. Yeah. That could change. That's what we're waiting to hear, unfortunately, but as of now, that's the good news as far as the hit on the tax burden.
Okay, down at Mindock Park, I proposed putting a line of trees along the riverside fence so that it'll hide the sewer plant as much as possible. I put it out for a request for prices, and I received 2 of them, and I sent it out to 3 different people, and I've received 2 of them, and I've actually accepted one on my own, but I haven't brought it to the board, which I'm doing right now. L&L Property Maintenance suggested a price for 10 trees at $300 a tree, which would be $3,000, and a mulch installation around the trees and around where it's being planted would be $880 for a grand total of $3,800. Do I have a motion to allow the supervisor to sign the contract?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, and we've just signed that support for the CEAC grant. And we received from the chief a calendar. He's got a full schedule,
Nice.
24/7 for the month of May. And what else do I have here? Public comment. Anybody else? Anything?
What kind of trees are you putting down at Mindock Park along the fence?
I can't pronounce the name, but the emerald green giant. There we go. Emerald green giant.
They're very pretty.
We're getting it, and I didn't read everything. We're getting it. They're buying them and planting them, 10 trees that should cover the fence. There's a problem with the fence. We can't get too close to the fence because somebody put a pipe or a chlorine piping along the fence.
The other day, Greg dug a couple of test holes.
Yeah.
It's doable. They may be able to put them up next. It's about 5 feet off the fence line. He dug 2. He was digging a 3rd one to prove where it's at. It's
Okay.
about 18 inches down. So,
All right.
you know,
Okay.
they'll be okay.
So anyway, they're going to put mulch around the trees, and we have a 2-year guarantee on the trees. So if any of them go bad, I guess they'll be replaced. And they also gave us a price on watering them, they have to be watered daily for let's see, how long, for the first month, and that would have been $3,000. So I talked to Greg, and Greg said, we'll take care of it. And so the Highway Department, among many other things that they do, they'll take care of watering the trees. Okay, public comment, anybody else? Gary, you still got lots of money in your account, right?
We're lower 900 right now, so it's getting, I wouldn't say thin, but we are below 1,000 now. We just cut another check for 200 to a person that came recommended from the committee. It's been two so far in the last month. So everyone knows that the fund still exists and out there. What I'm going to start doing now is kind of looking for, okay, who can I contact and start donating to that fund? Because as we start dwindling, we have, God forbid, another disaster, and that fund's not replenished, now we got a problem. And we can only donate so much money or allocate so much to whoever submits this application. So more to follow.
I was just going to bring that up. There's a committee that controls this money. You happen to be the chairman of the committee, am I correct? And there was a nice chunk of money immediately after the storm, and it's dwindled down $400 at a time, right? Around 400.
Yeah, we haven't got out 400 to every applicant, but the majority we have, and it's all based upon their justification of why they need the money.
Yeah. So now if there's anyone out there that has a few extra bucks that they might like to donate anonymously or using their name, however they'd like to do it, or if there's an organization out there that might want to do some sort of a program, fundraising program, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I will contact Rich Fox. I think there's a certain method you have to use to donate to the fund. I think it has to go through the center, but I'll contact Rich Fox to find out what the specifics are.
Okay. And asking for donations, is that kind of...
It's not really the town.
Kind of a gray area.
Yeah, right, towns don't fundraise, right? But,
Right.
that's what your tax dollars are for, but certainly this is for, right, emergency responses, so it's a little different.
That's why the center has the proper, what is it, 501, blah, blah, blah. That's why they go through it.
Right, it's the center's fund.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?